Asphalt. You think you can smell asphalt. It's strange though, since you're nowhere near a paved road. Instead, you're trekking down the bottom of a valley for your second ever job. An assistant botanist, hundreds of miles away from the nearest civilization, just the way you like it. Your employers had dropped you off at a hoist that leads you directly into the heart of the valley. It looked old, like a part of a mine shaft. You questioned its security as it lowered and creaked all the way to the bottom. As it descended, the walls curved concave. It reminded you of a crater you'd only seen in pictures. It's still morning, but by the time you were plunged into the shadows, it confused your sense of time. The scaffolding above, as if to hide this place, directed sunlight like a spotlight to shine on your destination. That's where you're headed now, smelling asphalt on this roadless path. Oh. You were that nervous that your ID card might not work, that this whole job was too good to be true. Really floods you as you step inside the only sunlit facility in this valley. The lobby is what you expected, so you rack your brain trying to figure out what this room is. They remember, your employer had told you about a clean room where you'll be putting on a uniform for this job. It's ultimately a lab after all. They're afraid of introducing unknown elements into the environment, since you'll be working directly in the greenhouse. You quickly eye the instructional posters on the wall and grab the correct size gear from the rack, stash away your hoodie into a locker, a little reluctantly. After you're done, it's actually not bad. You can live with this like a second skin, one more protective layer from the world. Emboldened, you swipe your ID card once more into the next room. The first thought that strikes you is that this place is lonely. It's as if every trace of anyone living here has been erased. The second thought that follows is that it's even better than you expected, especially when you hear them. Hello? Hi. It's your supervisor, Ash. You were too engrossed in listening for someone else that you didn't even notice they had been standing there. You must be the new hire, our new assistant botanist. You were briefed on Ash before you arrived here, the only human you will be interacting with for the foreseeable future. Their interview process didn't involve them at all, which struck you as odd, but the recruiter was very frank about the 100 NDAs this project was under. You were just happy to even get considered in the first place. Yeah. Not very talkative, are you? Well, whatever. How'd you find the dorms? It was right next to the facility. You didn't feel the need to check your room since there would be no friends there. Your bag of bare belongings was taken for processing ahead of time and dropped off there, so all you needed coming here was your ID card. Given the circumstances, you're not sure how to answer the question. Did Ash mean how you found it or what you think about it? You realize it'd been taking too long when Ash moves on. Alright, what's your name? Don't you already know from my application? Yeah, but want to hear from you instead of whatever's officially on paper. Oh. You find yourself both intimidated and oddly touched by the sentiment. So what is it? You're... Lion. Alright, Lion, how much do you know about this job? Not much. They didn't tell me much when I was hired. Yeah, I know they didn't tell you. I'm just asking you what you know. Oh. I know I'm not supposed to be talking with anyone about this job. Which I like. I know I'm gonna be taking care of the plants in this facility. The greenhouse, I mean, under your supervision. I don't know what kind of plants they are, but I'm excited to meet them. Okay, well, I won't keep you. Let's see, what else do you have to know? Yeah, don't bother going anywhere else aside from your office and the greenhouse. May I ask why? Nah, you like access to them anyway. Unsure of how to respond, you simply sit back and embrace the silence. No silence is awkward for you. Ash seems to disagree when their foot starts tapping on the floor. Right, well, here's a list I wrote up with basic duties I expect from you. They hand you a piece of paper riddled with coffee stains. There's a near unintelligible bullet list. I'll be in my lab. You'll get settled in before checking those off. Before you can bring up the problems of even understanding what the tasks are, Ash rushes off, almost as if they'd been dying to exit the conversation. Okay. You attempt to read the list, but it proves to be an insurmountable task. Your eyes ache with the pointless effort. I guess I'll get settled. You decide to check out. The lab, your office, the basement? I'll go check out the lab. The lab. The last time you were in anything close to resembling this place was chemistry class in high school. High school, which you failed. You don't like to remember that. You were told that this is under Ash's jurisdiction, so you're afraid to look at anything too closely. You awkwardly stand at the entrance, vaguely wondering why there's even an operating table, when you notice someone calling out. That was fast. Did you finish your task list already? Yeah. Again, you're taken by surprise. That's not who you were listening for. Did Ash come through the open door across the lab? You were staring pretty intensely at the plant over there. Were you curious? Wait, there's a plant? Oh, there is a plant! It seems relaxed, content, but it's a little thirsty. Huh? Never mind. Okay. You can hear Ash muttering something under their breath. Your mind immediately supplies you with some very colorful language. I'm going to go back to work then. After watering that. Ash grabs a half-empty beaker nearby, opens up the cabinet and dumps the water on the plant before walking back to what you presume to be their office. Taking that as a dismissal, you exit the lab. They're humoring you, but it's more than you normally get. Ash was part of the job description that made you anxious the most, but maybe you can at least work with them in peace. Hopefully. You decide to check out the basement. Oh hell yeah, I'm going into the basement. You walk down the unlit stairs. It feels like you walk into the void, yet the feeling isn't entirely unwelcome. At the end of it, you can see the basement door under a dim fluorescent light. It's more of a gate, and it's imposing. It's practically calling you to open it. In fact, literally so, you can almost certainly pull. The last time you felt like this was the first time you talked to someone. A flower. Even though you're certain this won't work, you try your luck out with your ID at the gate. Of course not. Decide to check out your office. The assistant botanist's office. Or rather, your office. It feels weird for you to have your own space like this at a workplace. The small plant nursery at your first job didn't have anything like this, and that's the only job you managed to hold down. You know that it smells sterile, as though they had scrubbed the place clean after the previous assistant had left. So you don't have any idea of what a normal office space should look like. Well, clearly what it smells like. Oh, there's a lot of things I can interact with here. Well, I'm gonna start with a poster right under my face. It's a diagram showing the basic breakdown of plant cell. Despite your admittedly low self-esteem, you're a little offended by the patronizing diagram. The requirements for the assistant's job don't come close to the job description for a real botanist, but never mind. All the hot air that rushed into your head deflates when you agree with the made-up evaluation that you are indeed incompetent and unfit for the role. Well, next I do want to check out the next poster. It's a map for the facility. Too many areas are restricted. You are essentially only going to be here, the greenhouse and Ash's lab, and the last one you could only say for sure after having been here. There's a basement section that you had tried accessing. It's completely closed off and you can't help but wonder why. What about my home? I'm kidding. I totally don't belong in trash. Do not make an edit of me in trash, please. Oh god. With how clean the office is, you're a bit surprised the trash can isn't also empty. Your heart crumples too when you notice a creased flower seed packets sitting on top of the pile. Camellia, lily of the valley, geraniums. How could people throw you away like this? You promised them that you'd salvage and nurture them when you get the opportunity. Well, what's in the cabinet? Not a speck of dust in the cabinets. My computer. The desktop is wiped clean, just like the office, aside from basic software like a word processor. No internet either, as you're supposed to send updates through Ash instead. You were made to understand that the job was completely isolated, but you feel the understanding truly dawn on you now. That's no problem for you though. What about the journal? You pick up the notebook. Or sketchbook, as you soon find out flipping through its contents. You're a little weirded out that, for a place scrubbed clean, this was left out so conspicuously. The handwriting is terrible. You can barely read it. The owner and Ash must be a match made in heaven. That thought leads you to briefly consider Ash as the owner, but the handwriting, as equally terrible as it is different enough. The sketches inside have incredible detailing. You're able to recognize all the plants, flowers, most of them lovingly rendered with pencil. One page makes you pause. You think it might be a tree, but you've never seen it before. There's buds on the branches that resemble one that eventually bloom on dogwood trees. Then you question if it even is a tree, despite having tree-like features. The silhouette looks more like someone kneeling. A bit creeped out, yet intrigued. You decide to flip through the rest later. It's your first day, and you've already spent too much time poring over this. And there's nothing else for me to look at. Let's exit. You think you're done settling into the office. Decide to check out the greenhouse. You feel settled in enough, so the only place left to explore is the reason you were hired. The greenhouse, where you'll be taking care of plants. You're excited to make new friends. It's been a while since you were able to, since you were fired from your last job. Which was your fault. You couldn't be good enough. You could never be good enough for them. But plants are different. You didn't have to perform anything. You could just be. They easily accepted you as your own, as if it were the most natural thing in the world to do. They understood you like no other, and you let them. And they called out to you from the other side, their voices bubbling pleasantly like a mallet on a xylophone. With newfound resolve, you swipe your ID card and enter the greenhouse. It's numerous. Recall the last time you heard this many voices was when you were a child. You would wander for hours in the woods. Your parents were never a fan of that, but they could never understand the comfort the greenery would bring you. A sound sleep for once. The whisper, a sweet lullaby in your ears. The plants here, they are less a part of a greenhouse and more a part of the forest. An ecosystem with the state-of-the-art technology emulating nature, far below where the sun envelopes the earth. And they're as content as they could be. No, while they're happy, there's an undercurrent of nervousness, as if they're walking on eggshells. A facade of paradise. What's wrong? You probe deeper and you can feel it. At the heart of this place, something. No. Beyond the branches, or as if they bowed out to make way for your approach, was someone. I'm guessing that says, who are you? Or what are you? You're from the sketches. Like a badly tuned radio, that's what the words feel like. Worms against your brain. But the sensation is still akin to a plant. There's still a plant, but something is wrong. Let me... What? Let me return? Does that say return? What's wrong? How can I help you? There has never been a plant that you couldn't understand, but none of them has actually spoke words to you. It has always been an implicit understanding based on the variations in wavelengths that you could always perceive. Small changes in moods and wants you could pick up on. So this one, you can still tell that it's a plant, the buzzing, the static. It still feels like those are the same wavelengths, trying to claw their way into your brain. Something was in the way. Something. Come closer. Hold me. So, what? So empty? I know you need help, but what are you trying to say? How can I help? Come closer. Come closer. Come closer. You don't realize your breaths are in sync with the breaths of another. You don't realize you've been taking slow yet steady steps forward. You don't realize you're staring directly into the void as the static fills your senses. You don't realize. What do I not realize? They're not normal. You've been here before. Deja vu? They haven't been normal for a while. We've tried to love them as our own child, even went along with this gender thing. But the way they refuse to socialize with anyone, they don't have any friends. It's not normal, but there's been other kids like that. You know that. A sociable kids. Do kids like that talk literally all day with plants as if they're alive? We've tried so hard to talk to them about it, but they just completely shut off when we do. And then they skip school just to spend time in that nursery, coming back covered in dirt. Sometimes they don't come back at all. Sometimes you wish you actually won't come back at all. So you run. You run and you fall. You have been falling for a very long time. Falling onto cracked earths, its jaw on the cusp of swallowing you whole. Swallowed whole, you can't move a finger, the pull of infinite slumber overpowering. The explosion jolts you. You haven't been here before. This isn't you. Distantly, you think you can hear someone crying. You try to move towards them, but you realize your eyes aren't even open. So you move. Ayo? Holy poo! Lion? Ash? Nah. But anyway, that was the valley. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. We will be back with part 2 once it's been released. And as always, if you guys want to play this game for yourself, link to the game will be in the description below. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of the day. And as always, I will be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao. Oh, so yes, you get a boop. Boop. Alright, now you can go.